Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good after first sleep. I don't know when you're watching this. This is my second take on this video that I want to make for you guys. I made one a couple of days ago and I've watched it and I'm like, I'm not putting it up. Um, so this is like, I don't even know where to begin. And I felt like the last video was a little crazy like that too. So I'm just going to talk and then see if I can make it cohesive for you. Um, that was the cat. Hopefully you can hear me. I've got my little microphone on. The birds are chirping. The peepers are out at night. It's very exciting. It's springtime. But I wanted to talk about, because I have this playlist about the vibration plate. I haven't used it outside of sitting down for a minute. I have been in extreme pain. Now, I don't know if the vibration plate is part of that or not. I am 54 years old. I am overweight and I am making major life changes and going through lots of changes that I've been doing for a couple of years now. Um, However, after this winter season, um, I work in a pretty seasonal industry here in Vermont, and I take care of short-term rentals. I host a few short-term rentals too. I think it's 5. And I also have outside work with other hosts doing the cleanings. I love it. I love it. My goal, obviously, would be to have a residential house cleaning business at this point, just because winters are so intense and then they're gone. Like, there's like no business right this minute. So, um, with that being said, that would be a goal, but that's neither here nor there. It's a physical job. I'm 54 years old, and over the past winter, I quit drinking. And there was a main reason why I quit drinking. I've talked about it before, was I felt that after taking a good look at my income, that what I was spending and whatnot, that I had to really get serious about drinking and why I shouldn't buy any alcohol unless I was a half a month ahead on rent. That's great, right? I had no intention of actually quitting altogether, but I wasn't stopping at the local general store every day after I got off work to buy 3 or 6 or 8 of my favorite drinks. Just wasn't doing it anymore. That was it. And my goal was, once I hit my next month's rent, if it was paid a half a month early, then I could go ahead and do that. And that was my rule. So I started in the end of October, and I don't know exactly what date. I just know it started in October. Um, and I said, this is not going to happen. So I busted my butt. It was a really slow fall. We have a very slow fall and a very slow spring and a summer and a really busy winter. That's how the season works here. We have 6 months of winter though. So fall was slow, but the snow started pretty quick. And the local ski place opened up pretty quick. So where's my coffee? Here it is. I need to have it. Um, anyway, so it took until February to where I thought I'm going to get to have some drinks. I'm excited. So since the end of October until February, I had I think 3 mimosas at Thanksgiving and probably another 3 or 4 mimosas at Christmas. That was it. I didn't purchase anything. Um, Nobody left behind any beers or anything like that at the short-term rentals, except for one time somebody left 3 non-alcoholic Coronas. I was thrilled to death. It took me a week to drink those, so mark that in your brain. It took me a week to drink them. They tasted just like it. I thought that was pretty cool, and they were delicious. So here comes February, and here comes the 15th, and I am like this close to being able to send off the rent for March. And I wasn't. I couldn't. I could not send the full rent on the 15th, and that was the rule. And I have to learn to be very. It's not that I have to learn to it. It was important for me to be really specific about that. And it doesn't matter how close I was. I wasn't all the way there. I could not send my March rent on the 15th of February. So I said, okay, I guess not. And then the 18th rolled around and I had what was left. I sent that out. And I started to try to negotiate with myself and say, self, it's only 3 days. It's not a big deal. It's just 3 days. It's just 3 days. You're just off by 3 days. Close enough. And then myself said, no, it's still 3 days. You are not close enough. It is not what you promised yourself. So covenants that you make with yourself and with God are really important. You can't just say, oh, it's only 3 days off. Nope. So I re-examined that and I prayed on it, and I have been, it's been a while. If you've watched any of my Towers Traveling Paints, I discussed this a little bit, but I've gotten very serious about my connection with God, especially since the drink, because I was begging him, like, what is it? Like, I was mad about the compulsion. I was mad about, like, I don't feel like drinking today, but by 1 o'clock, when I know I've got an hour and a half left to work, I was like, I can't wait to have a drink today. I didn't like that compulsion. So that was part of it. So, and it was also affecting me financially, and I didn't like it. And so I've been watching a lot of Dave Ramsey. I do that when I'm working. I love it. And I don't agree with everything that is said there, but it's the principles are there. And um, I can't create a budget because my income is crazily weird. You never know what it's going to be. Um, but I knew I could keep track of everything I spent. And after the end of October, I was like, oh, no, you didn't. I could pull out my little budget book and find out exactly when it was. But I was like, oh no, that's ridiculous. Because I had to make a phone call to my landlord explaining that please be patient with me. And when I looked at what I had spent money on, I wouldn't have had to make it that deep of a phone call. It could have been like, hey, but it wouldn't have been like, just hold on, please don't evict me, kind of thing. So that 3 days mattered, and I could not ignore it. So I was like, well, what the heck? So I prayed. So what do I do here? And it just so happened to be coming up on Lent. Okay. Because I had already just pushed in my head, no, you'll have to wait until next month. You have to wait till March 15th to see if you're ahead. And the thing was, it was before the end of February that I had April's rent paid because it was busy and I was busting my ass and putting all my money away. So that's not it. What's going on? I really desire to have a drink, and now I can because I've met my goal. I'm 30 days ahead on rent. And Lent's coming up. And I have never given anything up for Lent. So I decide that because my desire was so serious and I had no issues with it up until that point, it was like I didn't care that I couldn't buy a drink. Okay? Weird. I have no idea. But once I knew that I could, I really wanted one. And I said, wait a minute, something's up with that. I don't like that compulsion. And I know where it goes. So, how about this? You've never given up anything for Lent, ever, in your whole life. Not that you knew of, and not with the intention of glorifying God. So, how about for Lent, you don't drink? You don't buy any drinks. You don't get any drinks. If you find a beer at a short-term rental, you don't drink it. You save it. I still have like a bottle of somewhere over here that I found. I don't even know where it is. Maybe I've given it away already. Could have. some little liqueur. Anyway, so I found a Heineken and I was all excited about it. And I realized, no, you gave it up for Lent. It's not about buying it right now. It's about you gave it up for Lent. So that Heineken that you think is going to be so wonderful, and if you follow me or are friends with me on Facebook, you saw a picture of that Heineken. I was like, I can't wait to have this Heineken. I still could not have it because it was alcohol, and I promised that I wouldn't. So I went all Lent. And as Lent is coming to an end, I'm starting to think about it. I'm like, oh, what's the day? When can I do this? And da 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 da. And what about this? And what about that? And so my decision after that was the first day when you're outside of Lent that you feel like you're in a good mood and you're just looking forward to having a nice drink. That's the day that you can do it. You don't do it because you're pissed off. You don't do it, you do it only when you're in a good mood. Okay. So Easter weekend was fabulous. There I am at the end of Lent. My granddaughter came over for the weekend. It was awesome. And she was like, I'm really excited that you're not drinking. And I'm like, okay. Still at this point, I'm not deciding that I'm not going to drink just for Lent. Excuse my sniffles. My ear is clogged, and I'm like, I don't. Anyway, so I dropped her off on Sunday, and I came back to town, and I was like, today's the day. I'm in a great mood. It was a great weekend. I'm so proud of myself. Lent's like 40 days. Like, that's awesome. So at this point, here's the calendar. It's the 5th of April. It's 157 days. That's over 5 months. I bought White Claws. That's my favorite. I love them. They're so delicious. So the grapefruit. It's got to be that one, none other. So I went and got a flat. I figured I'll have a flat of them. And because it's been so long since I've been drinking, right? That, that'll be like 2 a day for like forever compared to like what they used to last. And they were bad. I was unhappy after 3 of them, how I felt. And what I realized was, even though my tolerance was really high before, that was still happening to my body, whether I felt it in my brain or not. Those effects were still happening in my body. So I get mad and I'm all angry about it. And I decided to keep drinking that night. And I went and I had 8 of them. That was as if I had never quit. That I literally drank as many as I would have if I was a regular drinker still. I'm like, what the heck? Woke up after first sleep, like, my blood pressure was out the roof. I'm like, oh, I don't like that. So a flat of White Claws is 12. So the next day I said, fine, I'm going to finish these up. I'm going to drink the last 4. And I'm going to slow it down. So here we go. We got Monday and Tuesday I drank. Monday night I had 8. Tuesday I had 4. And I said, I'm good. And I didn't like how I felt. So then you have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't drink. I start writing down the numbers again. I put 158 over here, 159. I'm like, wait a minute. It's really just 3 because I drank 2 days, right? So I said, this is what you'll do. How about this, Tara? I'm trying to negotiate with my own self. How about you only buy 2 or 1 when you want to have a drink? How about that? One of my favorite things is driving down a dirt road with a road soda. Just 1. Okay, so how about on Friday, if you want 1, get 1. or two. But that's it. That's it. So I stop at the store. I get 2 grapefruit White Claws. So delicious. I get home and I'm like, drink my White Claws. I'm like, oh, I still had that really beautiful Heineken I was saving for an adventure or whatever. I pulled that one out and drank it. Now, once you've had 2 White Claws, a Heineken no longer tastes the way a Heineken is supposed to taste. It is not as delicious as it would be if that was what you had. Okay? I also had some crazy microbrew in the refrigerator that I don't drink microbrews. I'm not a fan. I think they're gross. So I drank that. So now I've had 2 White Claws, 2 19-ounce White Claws, a regular size Heineken, and I think a 16-ounce microbrew. And I'm not happy about it. I'm like, this is bullshit. Woke up at 1:30 in the morning like, okay, there goes my heart rate again. Okay. How about this? How about you don't drink anymore, Tara? What? My body is in a lot of pain, like tremendous. And I'm thinking, yeah, you quit drinking for over 5 months, but your body didn't come out of pain, but you loaded up on sugar, and sugar is probably attacking your joints. And just because you didn't have alcohol sugars doesn't mean you weren't having sugar. So you're not going to feel better in your joints and your body until you've given up sugar too. So I am already doing the vibration plate with y'all. I'm going to do it again, and I've been doing it sitting down a lot, probably 40, 50 minutes a day, keeping the blood flowing in my legs because I am in a lot of pain. I can't believe I'm standing here right now like this. I gotta tell you, I am confused with how much pain I'm going through. So I woke up this morning like, okay, this is good. I got home from work yesterday after working 3 hours. I could barely make it up my stairs. Pain. So I'm like, I'm just not going to drink. Now, I have no idea what the future is going to hold. I don't know. But we are now on day 18 plus 157 because my friend told me, don't discount. Don't, those 3 days that you drank, don't start from scratch from them because you learned something about what you were doing. Okay, whatever. Whatever. So we're over 5.5 months right now, maybe even close to 6, where I can count how many drinks I've had. I literally put together my returns. I have less than a half a week's worth of returns over the last 6 months than I used to have. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to bring 5 to 6 bags a week, and I've got like 4.5 bags. I want them out of here. So now they're kind of loaded up with Diet Cokes because if I really want to have a drink and drive down a dirt road, instead of getting a White Claw, I buy a Tolly fucking Diet Coke in a can, and it just does the same thing. Just that beautiful sound, tastes delicious, and I don't have any alcohol in me. And if a turkey runs out in front of me, it's not a crazy thing. And if somebody's riding their 4-wheeler, I'm not the one in trouble. Like like it's so much better for you not to be driving around, even if it's just one drink. So I don't even know if I'm going to leave that in there. Who knows? So anyway, I'm in pain. So what do? The It's been exasperated as far as I can tell with the vibration plate. It feels like something got loosened up in my left leg, and my knee has been killing me since. I also had pretty nasty vertigo for a few days. That's gone. It's fine. Those are things that could happen, right? I'm not giving up on it though. But what I know is that my body has to relieve the pressure off these joints because I'm 54 years old and I want my season to be really good. So I can't turn away work or take off days because I'm ouchy. That's bullshit. Okay, that's how I feel. So I want next winter to be even more intense because I'll be going into next winter sober. And if I can get my body in a place where it feels really good, I can do double the work and make double the money. Okay? And start having maybe summers off. That'd be nice. So I don't even know where it was around here. I don't even know where we're at. Let me see. We're all the way over here. So I'd say about the middle of last week, I said, you were keto for 3 years and you loved it. Then you got together with that man and decided you were going to carb cycle. Because all of a sudden you felt like you should be skinnier. I don't know if I'm ever going to be skinny, and I don't really care to be. I just want to be healthy, and I want my joints to work, and I want to feel good. And I don't mind looking good, but you can obviously tell that. Just kidding. I'm a little vain. Um, so why aren't you keto again? And I'm like really interested in carnivore. I'm like, I remember when I was keto how easy life was. It's just so easy. And I don't, it's so easy. So my big thing is I got to get off the sugar because I feel like the sugar is attacking my joints and sugar is making me feel compulsive, and that's something I don't like. So when you sit down to a snack that probably is 2 servings and you decide to have it all, or you get one of these are great jars, by the way. I like to save my jars. Or you get some gelato, and that is 1 serving. So let me tell you about what I don't even know. It's insane. 42 grams of sugar in this thing. 42. What? You can't have 42. Are you sure? I thought it was more. Total carbs. 42. That's a lot. Now, I only know that's a lot because of my keto days. In my keto days, it was 30 or under in order to remain in ketosis. I got really good at it, so I was maybe 14, 9, 15, occasionally 20, and if I had to have corn on the cob, I had to because it was in season. That's 30 right there. If I had to have a banana, that's 30 right there. So I understood in my mind the things that were hit me right there at one time. A half a bagel. A half a bagel is your carb count for the day. Do you want to waste your time having a half a bagel and destroy your ability to have all sorts of beautiful carbs throughout the day? So I said, I am going to go single ingredient carb, and I'm going to tighten it up as much as I can. I don't know if I'll ever be full carnivore. I don't know. So I've been doing it, and I've been loving it. And I already feel like um, there's less of me following in front of my boobs. Like, I should probably do a full length before so that we can see what I look like after. But it's not for images. It's so I feel good. Because God has placed into me the desire to feel good in my own skin. So that's the deal with that. So I've been enjoying that right now on the stove. I am rendering tallow to cook with. I love tallow. I rendered it a couple of months ago for skincare. And I just had a little jar of tallow for cooking. I went right through that. I was like, uh-oh. Skincare, dude? Game changer. Combine this as an everyday moisturizer, tallow, that you render is to near perfection. This has got air pockets in it because I remelted it and blended it because it was so hard. Um, so here's my first container of it. Now it's like little granules in there instead. And when I'm not putting tallow on, so tallow 5 days a week. 2 different times I do castor oil all over my face. Castor oil should be in your house at all times, always. I put it in my belly button. I put it on my face, and when my joints hurt really bad, I rub castor oil in, and it helps. It's not quite a tiger balm, but it helps. So those are 2 things. If you're worried about how beautiful you are, I don't care how old you are, you should use both of those: tallow and castor oil. So I'm making tallow for cooking. I'm not sure what fancy. She's trying to knock me down. What are you doing? She doesn't understand who I'm talking to. She's like, oh God, Mom, I think you've lost it. Making that. I am making kefir. And these guys are resting. I have to go get some more raw milk. We have a couple of raw milk people around here. I got kefir in here. These are resting in regular pasteurized milk. I save that. Like I rinse that out and whatever comes out of that, I give to the dog. The dog is responding like amazing to kefir. Kefir is great. So, excuse me, fancy. So I went and got, I'll put the link to the article, What to Buy in Your House for Carnivore. I'm getting long here. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll make, I don't know. So here's some raw milk kefir. I should probably have a cup of that. And I've got some side pork, which is uncured bacon. Ready to eat. That is way better than bacon. Oh my gosh. I have a Diet Coke in case they want a beer. This is Fancy's kefir, and I just put like 2 tablespoons on our food. I've got homemade butter. And I'll take that out because I should have at least a little cup. I want to show you something that I think is really great, because sometimes you want condiments, right? So you want sauces and condiments. Where do I have it? So ketchup. Who knew this is where the video was going? I had no idea. But here we are. Let me turn on the light. That should help. 7 grams of carbs. That's a lot. And there is some fiber in it, so it's net 3 grams of carbs. That's a lot for ketchup. Ketchup is not that delicious to me. Now, my friend Anu, she's a vegetarian, and she stayed at one of my places, and she actually owns one of them, but she didn't want to stay at that one. She stayed at one of the other ones. She left me some snacks, and I'm like, oh gosh, she's a vegetarian, so who knows? This is 1 net carb per 2 tablespoons. That's flavorful. She left me this as well. This is 1 net carb, 2 tablespoons. Salsa is 1 net carb, 2 tablespoons. That's a much better condiment than something like ketchup, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to spend my time having a carb, right? So I'm really excited about that. You can put anything on a pile of greens, like spring greens or spinach. You can put anything on top of that, have all that beautiful, beautiful God-given plant food, and have virtually 0 carbs, like a net carb for your whole plate. That's where I want to spend my time with carbs. So the chicken's got a lot of bread because I was freezing it. Let me show you something else. You think this is low carb, and this is low carb compared to bread. And I should just freeze it. But a beautiful flour tortilla. These are so delicious. 34 grams of carbs, 3 grams of fiber. That is 31 net carbs per slice. You're done for the day and you've gone over your carb count with one. No, thank you. So, all that, I'm excited about that catching up to me. So, I'll put the link to that article if you're interested in having the benefits of meat in your life. It's hugely important. Fat is really important. Being high protein is really good, but you need fat. So, I remember when I was keto before, I didn't waste my time much on like white chicken. It's always been bone in, skin on chicken thighs. So if you do want to have like white chicken breast, that's a high protein count, very low fat. You're going to need to add a lot of fat to it. If you're not lactic intolerant, you need to have butter, a lot of butter, a lot of cream, Kiefer. There's plenty of sugar in dairy products. It's called lactate. So, gonna have some. I should mix it. No, Fancy, this isn't yours. So Kiefers are awesome and they're really good for you. I made also, so I've done some research on sweets because I apparently like my sweets. And I'm almost fully non-sugar. Not there yet. So I couldn't bear to throw that away. I need to get some milk today too. Ugh. I have a hard time drinking all that milk, but half a gallon lasts me a week. So good. What the heck was I saying? Like keto ice cream or carnivore ice cream, very easy. I'm excited to try it. So what I've been doing, I have to wash this because for some reason I have to save these containers. I love Butterworks Farms grass-fed whole plain yogurt. Whole yogurt, never low-fat yogurt, ever. And so I took it and like I've been using that to keep me from like confectionery sweets, pastries and shit. So I decided, well, let me see what I can do with this. So I mixed it with heavy cream. I put like maybe half a cup of heavy cream in there. I was about a quarter of the way down that container. Put it in a bowl, pulled out my whisk, and whisked it with a tablespoon of, what do you call it? Vanilla extract and a tablespoon of real maple syrup. That's high in carbs, but 1 tablespoon for the entire thing is nothing. Like it's small beans. So, and maple syrup is good for you. And I like to try to keep things local. True carnivore would never touch maple syrup. It's a plant product. They would go with honey because that's an animal product. Okay? There's a difference. I am neither or. I do know that eating more fat and protein is better for your brain and your body than full vegetables. It's just that's what brought us over the. That's the difference. But then again, I had been so long off of it. Look. Well, anyway. uh, so I'm excited about that, and I made a really nice, almost ice cream, but now it's gone. So I'm going to look up the ingredients. I think it's a matter of heavy cream, some keto sugars. I don't know what I can do with that though. I got to be able to find it. I might have to go into town. I don't like doing that. But and I also have to research what's the best keto sugar because Splenda is not good for you, but it has been as far as making sweets the most flavorful, I guess. Or I don't like that. I don't like that stuff. So I've got to be super careful. Monk fruit or something like that. Um, and then if I can nail that, what do you call it? I'm like burping up my kefir. That ice cream stuff and make it awesome, then I will get rid of the sugars I have left. So what I've been doing with that, look at me going on and on and on about food, and I want to talk about all sorts of stuff. I put a couple of teaspoons of granola in it. That shit's bad for you, dude. Oats are bad for you. Okay. And I love peanut butter, so I got peanut butter chips. I put a teaspoon of that in there, or two. And when I had bacon cooked, it was 1.5 pieces of bacon cut up into little bits and put in there. I made side pork yesterday. I used a half a piece of side pork, and it was so much better. And it was like in every bite, and I'm like, oh, I like sweet savory, so that worked for me. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I was in so much pain yesterday. I didn't know what to do with myself. I've got LifeWave patches, X39 patches all over my knees. I took ibuprofen because I could not believe it. I went to bed. When I went to bed, I woke up like an hour later, like I needed a shower. What? Okay, so I took a shower, went back to sleep, woke up this morning pain free. I'm hoping that I can maintain that today. I really am tired of that. And I do not want to take ibuprofen. It's disgusting. It's bad. I mean, if I'm not going to beat my liver up with something I enjoy, I'm not going to beat it up with something I don't enjoy. Like, what the hell? So I'm thinking that the being very high carb, not very high protein, high fat, super low carb is going to really help with my joints. I have to remember to take my magnesium every day, and I have to remember to take my DE, diatomaceous earth. That helps rebuild bones. And the fat helps with the ligaments. So, yeah, I'm making that. I got some olive oil. I made butter. I made Kiefer butter. So I took heavy cream and I made the Kiefers in it and fermented it for 2 days. Added some salt, whisked it up, and I got my own butter. And I'm like really excited about it. It's about the same cost as what you would buy processed butter that you get from the store. Look at that pretty stuff. Some water, some buttermilk just came out of there. You get to lick it up. So I'm excited about that. I usually leave like regular stick butter on the counter. This I'm leaving in the fridge just because it's homemade and I don't want it to go bad on me and I'm not ready to have it yet. But fermented butter, I can't wait. Tastes delicious. So ferment your foods. Eat your meat. Don't waste carbs on empty carbs or dead carbs. Don't waste them. Okay? Don't waste them. Have something really good for you that's a carb. Don't waste them on breads and tortillas. Okay? Get the good stuff. I'm trying to seed up there, and those have been up there for over a month, and nothing has come up yet. I think it's time to get rid of that. It's driving me crazy. I hate those lights. So here's cheers to you. Thank you for hanging out with me. And I'll be back. I'm going to come back a lot because I want to talk about a lot of things, and I just can't make this video any longer. There's a lot to talk about. And I thank you for hanging out with me, and I love you a long time. I'll see you in a video. The next one or so, or the last one. I don't know where you're going to go now. Bye.